Hello everyone, this is an exciting year for AI model. We have Hunyuan 3 D2.0 and it is now supported natively in ComfyUI with the latest update. I'm going to check out this update because, well, it's not running on wrapper custom nodes anymore. It's fully supported natively to generate 3D objects in ComfyUI. So we don't need to install any external custom nodes to run this 3D object generator. We're using one image and generating multi-angle dimensional objects. As you can see here, in the blog post for ComfyUI, there's one interesting feature of these 2.0 models: the multi-view workflows. This is specifically running with the Hunyuan 3D 2.0 multi-view AI model. The multi-view AI models are separate files from the 2.0 models, and they're already packaged for ComfyUI to run. You can find them in Hunyuan's official Hugging Face repository. If you scroll down this ComfyUI blog post, you'll see two hyperlinks here. When you click on Hunyuan 3D 2.0 and 3D 2.0 Multiview, you'll be redirected to the Hugging Face page. Now, this is the 3D 2.0 repository, and we also have the Multiview repository. So again, these are two separate repositories with different file versions to run. For the Multiview, this is what I'm focusing on in this video to try out and set up to run in ComfyUI. I'll do the Multiview version 2 MV using the model FP16 saved tensor files. This is about 4.9 gigabytes, not even 5 gigabytes in file size. So that's pretty convenient for most local computers running ComfyUI. Also, coming back to the 2.0 versions without Multiview, when you click into the file versions, there's a lot more you can play around with, like the 2.0 Turbo, 2.0 Fast, and Paint 2.0. This is for painting the color onto objects after rendering. You can check it out right here. When you click on the UNet, here, you'll have the model files for the Painting Objects AI models for Hunyuan 3D. I'll try that out later in other videos, but first, we'll focus on the multi-view. So, how can we use images and generate 3D objects using ComfyUI? Now, go to the command prompt window. As you can see, I've tried out updating the GitHub repositories of ComfyUI. Just type git pull and you'll have all the objects and files updated. It will jump to another line in the ComfyUI folder. In my case, I'll type conda activate ComfyUI here to start my virtual environment, then type python main.py. That will start my ComfyUI with the latest version update. But then there's something we have to do, the front end of ComfyUI. Now it's a separate project from the back end of ComfyUI. In the latest update, we have to update the front end using pip install requirements txt. Then we're going to install that requirements.txt in order to run ComfyUI smoothly in our web browsers and load the Hunyuan 3D 2.0 models. So in my virtual environment, I type pip install requirements.txt and it starts getting the front-end package right here. Once it finishes, it's pretty fast. Then type python main.py to run it again. It loads my GPU display card and we're going to have successfully run it. So in the new ComfyUI front end, we're going to have the Browse template. The Browse template is going to include the 3D modules. Where we're going to check out is in the 3D tabs here. Once you go into the 3D tabs, you'll see Hunyuan 3D 2.0 and 2.0 MV, which means multi-view for this Hunyuan 3D 2.0 models. So we're going to use the multi-view and try that out because the multi-view gives you more accuracy and more detail for different angles of your objects. So we're going to use Hunyuan 3D 2.0 MV this time. Once you click that button, it will show the workflow for running Hunyuan 3D 2.0 MV by default in your ComfyUI. Now it will prompt you to download the checkpoint models for these AI models. What you can do quickly is, of course, click the download button and run through the installation. What it does is redirect you to another web browser tab and save these files, so you better copy these names, Hunyuan 3D save tensor files, and click that download button. It will redirect you to another tab, a rename file explorer will pop up like this one. So what you're going to do is save it in the models folder in the checkpoint folder. This way, I'm going to rename it with the suggested file name and save that file in our checkpoint folder. So this is the workflow by default after we click into here and download the checkpoint model for Hunyuan 3D version 2. I've also downloaded the other two, Hunyuan 3D version 2, FP16, and Hunyuan 3D version 2 Turbo, which is also running in FP16. Now, all this series of AI models in Hunyuan 3D version 2.0 runs really fast. It's under 1 billion parameter size, so it won't consume a lot of VRAM. And for this workflow, we're running it with the Multiview. What it does is that by default settings here, it uses the front view of your object, the left side of your object loaded here, and also the back view of your object. So we connect three different clip visions and code for your object. Basically, we're connecting again the Hunyuan 3D version 2 conditioning, and this one specializes in multi-view. So you'll have different angles as input after encoding and put that as the conditions for the output in the K-samplers for the image sampling here. You'll see one more, the right view of your object. You can even add one more so you'll have more precision and accuracy when you generate 3D objects here. By default, the empty latent Hunyuan 3D version 2 uses a resolution of 3072. You can use higher or lower resolutions depending on your requirement, but I'll stay with the default values at this moment. Check out the case sampler here. It's just a typical case sampler running with step 20, CFG 7.5. Then, we're using lastly the VAE decode, but especially for Hunyuan 3D, this is not the typical VAE decode node that you're connecting. So, using that, we'll have the number of chunks, chopping each object part when you do the decoding, and then put it back together in 3D objects. This way, we're using 4 views to mesh basic. So in order to have the 4 views and then transform it to 3D mesh objects, you'll be able to receive the 3D mesh objects on this display panel, and it will save in your ComfyUI output folder under the mesh subfolder. So let's run something to try it on. There's only 3 views allowed or set by default here. Well, I'll run one time with the default workflow settings here, and you'll see the difference after what I'll be showing in the next step. First, I'll be loading this Beetle multi-view angles. This was coming from my WAN 2.1 generations that I previously used, starting with a frame image from here, and then using A360 rotations to do a multi-view of this beautiful beetle. By using that, I captured the front view here, the side view, and also the back view of this beetle with this 360 rotation video generated in WAN 2.1. You can also try that out with this LoRa, the 360 rotations in WAN 2.1, where I have the procedure of doing this. First, we're going to use this image-to-video workflow in WAN 2.1 and apply this LoRa model here connected to the K-sampler. I think I've mentioned this and demoed some of the videos in my previous tutorial. You guys can check that out, where I'll be using one image like this Gundam robot image, and then generate the rotation 360 degrees like that. It looks pretty cool, this one. I like it. So what you'll do is once you have these videos like the Beatles examples here, you're going to have a different view of your objects where you can capture different angles and put that into the Hunyuan 3D multi-view workflow here. So I got the front view, and let's say I'll upload the left view here. Here's the back view so far that we got from the video footage. And basically, we have multi-view like this for this object. Now, I'll try this connection as it creates by default in the workflow template here. When you click the Browse template, you'll have this workflow already. But there's something we have to optimize in order to make it better. Let's run one time. You'll know what's going on. Okay, so we got the generated object. As you can see, when you have an image like this, you'll have other noise and uncut objects, in this case the beetle, and you know the grass on the ground. Also, as well as this frame doesn't know why it's up here, but it just happens like this in this generation. So, let's try one more time to get better rendered 3D objects. And the same thing happened. We got the grass on the wood and also some unidentifiable places like a panel on top of this beetle. Well, because we have so many things around this object in this image, even 3 of these images have those objects as well. We have the trees and the grass on the ground where it is. We need to remove that before we pass it into the clip visions. It will be more ideal to have better performance to generate this image. So, we're not going to use the default workflow here. Instead, I'm going to use my modified way of using the 3D mesh generations with Hunyuan 3D Multiview. What I did is, the previously generated 3D rotations of this mecha, and I did the multi-view using that video and put that with the removed backgrounds. Because also this image is going to have a lot of things around and in the background. Even on the ground, you got a lot of elements that you have to remove before you pass this image, focusing only on this object to the clip visions, enabling the clip visions to have more precise accuracy to generate that 3D object. Also, I've added 4 dimensions of view for the multi-view input. So, we included the right side of the image for the object. I've tried the one without multi-view. Well, we'll try that later with other generations. So first, we'll have these 4 images generated, and there we go. We got the robot generated in a 3D mesh shape and object form by seeing it in multi-view here. Also, the up and down view of different angles of the object, we're able to see those shapes remaining from what we had in the images that I input. Also, the back wheel, this is the most important thing because a lot of engines and then the sword, the cannon, are placed behind the back of the robot, and we're able to see those shapes here as well. Also, the shoulders, as you can see, are following what we have with the following of our image. The same shoulders happen, and also we got pretty much the same shape at the front ground of the object as well. Now, this one is using multi-view, and as you can see, even though I'm using this robot is more complex than the beetles that I just showed. When I removed the backgrounds before passing the image to the clip visions, you'll have a more precise and accurate result for each view of your 3D object. The AI won't generate extra stuff around the environment like the grass or the trees, etc. And in this case, the background has a lot more stuff happening in this robot video. As you can see, even the back view here, we got a lot more buildings behind. You won't get elements like this building on the side here to generate in your 3D mesh object. So, removing the background is very important, I think, for having your object dedicated to generate in the 3D mesh like this and bring this 3D mesh. Of course, if you're a 3D animator or a Blender guy, bring that to Blender and put up some colors, do your animations in there, and have fun. And for AI, purely using AI, you can use this having different angles, recording videos like this, spinning, having this different view, and restyle this shape with different colorations, different styles as well. And that is doable using AI video generators. The other thing that I want to show is the conditioning without multi-view. This one is going to have a lot more difference than the multi-view conditioning. Now, I'll put this result below this conditioning, and you'll have a better recognition of this coming from the multi-view. We'll have a new one generated without multi-view, just only the 3DV2 conditioning. We're going to select the right checkpoint model, which is the Hunyuan 3D version 2.0 checkpoint model without the multi-view condition. We'll have another node connected for displaying our mesh. Let's run this one. This will be using only the foreground of your image as one input only. So we're going to use only the foreground, the front view of the image. See how that looks. So we got the result here, using only one image to generate your 3D mesh object. As you can see, it's less accurate for everything, while the foreground is almost the same because this is based on the front view of the image. But then, when you see on the side here, we got something floating on the top, unable to recognize. This is the cannon of the robot that we have. And if we provide the side view and the back view of this robot in the multi-view conditioning, we're able to render very accurately the object shape, how that looks in different dimensions, different angles of this robot. Right here, we're only able to render the front view accurately, but then other angles are unable to render. So therefore, we have to provide more views of that object in different images. It's going to be more accurate to generate that 3D mesh object for whatever image that you provide with the multi-view angle. Therefore, that's why in the last video, I talked about this 360 rotations Hunyuan 2.1 LoRa model is pretty useful in a different way. As I mentioned in previous videos, I use different angles for Flux LoRa datasets. If you have your character generated in 360 rotations, and also like this one, you got the Gundam 360 rotations where you can use that for Flux LoRa training dataset. Prepare before you train your Flux LoRa, or in this case, we're using multi-view angles for Hunyuan 3D multi-view generations, which enable us to have better performance in different views this time. So after that, we'll have the multi-view generated. I'm using the 3D viewer like this to explore different angles. Well, you can record this footage if you want to, just like what I did in this example where I have different angles like that and showing off how different angles of this robot look. Using this footage, I can even add some color with the AI video generator. So, for example, here, as I talked about previously, using the depth map videos to videos, I input this recorded footage using the 3D viewer to see these objects in multiple angles. Then, I put this one as the load video and generate that using the WAN 2.1 style transfer workflow that I did in the previous video. The previous YouTube tutorial talked about this one, and that's basically using the depth map control LoRa to generate the first stage of this video. Then I got another two refinement methods. One is using the LoRa tile control with our skip layer guidance, which I've also talked about in the previous video. I just mix and match, combining everything that I learned with the new thing, trying to make, a pack of solutions to make that 3D thing going on. Also, the stage attention, as well as another group is only using the skip layer guidance without the tile. So if you have really bad quality, you can put the denoise higher and it'll just let it generate better quality of the object sooner or later. So let's say this time we don't need to do the refinement, we just focus on the depth map. How can we use our input video, like what I recorded in the 3D viewer of this robot, putting that into a depth map using a style of another robotic? For example, you got other colorations instead of a boring gray color style like this. You want to have this shape of this robot, but add some coloration with more creativity. You can do that as well. Here, I prepared another image of a robot. Let's see how that looks. You'll be seeing this very gory style Gundam here, and then we're going to colorize this 3D object with that style. Based on that, we're going to use the depth map. The preprocessor I'm using is the Depth Anything V2 preprocessor to run this. We're only focusing on generating with the depth map this time. We don't need to do the refinement, see how that looks like. Then, after adding the style of this image and putting that into this 3D object mesh video that I have for the footage, I'm able to generate something like this for the 3D mesh object, where you'll have different colorations rather than the previous original of the image, where you have just one color or a very boring design like this. Now, we got more different colorations with red and white, more armory styles with this robot. So yeah, basically we can do a lot of ways with that 3D mesh object rather than putting it into some 3D editor, but I'm not a 3D guy, so I don't use those software much. Anyway, with AI nowadays, we can use AI model like Hunyuan 3D Multiview, using this approach to generate the 3D mesh objects. And the main thing is, this looks pretty cool from Hunyuan 3D, especially version 2 right now. It's doing pretty well with what they've used, the multi-view, and having very consistent styles and coherent in different angles. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a nice day. See ya.